Okay, one last test of the local area here. Perfect, nice and loud. There we go.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2 3 4. Test 1 2. Test. Test. 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4.
Can I just run this by?
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. See if I'm getting. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test. 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 Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's humming.
Yeah, it would help, like I said, if I turned the mic on. Whoa, we got it turned off. Yeah. But the thing is, the mic is turned off. Why is it still doing that? Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Mike. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the start of season number 2 here at the Loop Red River Exhibition Park. I'm your track announcer, Frank Stecky, and along with Mike Williams, president of the Manitoba Harness Racing Association, we're going to do our handicapping for race number 1 on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon. And if you don't mind, Mike, I'm going to go first on this one.
Go right ahead, Frank.
Race number 1, going to have to go with the odds and pick the number 1 horse, Shots Fired. Last race, June 22nd at Edmonton, where he went up in class and hung with the top 3 until the stretch run. In fact, already has got 6 races under his belt this year, and I think he's going to cross home first. My place pick in race number 1 is the number 3 horse, Nonversation. Qualified at 2:08 a couple of weeks back, but consistently ran sub 2 minutes in Alberta earlier this year. And the third place finish is really going to be a toss-up as far as race number 1 is concerned, as none of the other teams have run since last season here at the Loop. So when in doubt, turn to the numbers, and that tells me Be Special will round out the top 3. From the remaining horses, she has the best lifetime average and has won the most money. So for myself, for race number 1, I am picking 1-3-2 to be my order of finish. Again, 1-3-2 for race number 1. And now we turn it over to the professor, Mike Williams, with his picks for race number 1 this afternoon.
Well, thanks a lot, Frank. I think what we got to look at today is the track condition. Winnipeg has had tremendous amounts of rainfall, especially in the last week or so. Test. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I was saying that we did have a lot of rainfall the last week or so right here in Winnipeg. And I think the track, that's going to play a big part of the track. We're not going to see any super fast times, in my opinion, today. Next week, with the sunshine coming every day, we're going to see a different facility here for sure. But I agree with Frank in the first race. That Shots Fired. Trevor Williams bought this horse 2 weeks ago out of the Jamie Gray barn. And does have the inside, and I think that's going to play a big, big part here today at the Loop. And the conditioned horses, because I think the track is going to be tiring, have a much advantage. And with 11 starts under his belt, I'm giving Shots Fired the number 1 call in race number 1. Nonversation, no slouch. Our driver Richard Remillard, last year $44,000 made, and that's a lot of money for Nonversation. The only difference between why I took the 1 over the 3 was the conditioning factor with Shots Fired having 11 starts under his belt. Nonversation will make a race of it, but I definitely think it's these 2 in the exactor, 1 and 3. Wide open for third, very consistent horse. The far outside the 5 horse, 2 shoes. You take a look at this horse, 10 for 13 last year in 2023. Has yet to have a start in 24, and that plays a big role and does have the outside. But this horse is never far out of it. Look for 2 shoes to close. I like the 1, 3, and the 5. If you're playing the daily double, love the 1 horse, Shots Fired. With the 2 horse in race number 2, Choose to Cruise.
All right, there you go. That's Mike's pick. So I'm 1-3-2. Mike is 1-3-5. And we're going to have the post parade coming up shortly. Sit back, relax, enjoy the sunshine, folks, and welcome to, again, season number 2 at the Loop Red River Exhibition Park. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the post parade for race number 1 here at the Loop this afternoon, Red River Exhibition Park. Coming up from behind and coming into view very, very quickly, horse number 1, Shot Fired. Your driver, Glenn LeDrew, trainer, Trevin Williams, 4-year-old, Bay Gelding. Horse number 2, Be Special. Driver, Daryl Mason, trainer, Aaron Mason, a 6-year-old bay mare. And horse number 3, Non-Versation. Your driver, Richard Remillard, and trainer, Tara Isman. Horse number 4 coming past the grandstand right now is Irish Gene, driven and trained by Clayton Braybrook. And the last horse in our 5-horse field to start off race number 1, Two Shoes, driven by Dean Ray, and trainer Denny Chapelet, 7-year-old bay gelding. Race number 1 for a purse of $4,000. We do have triactor, exactor wagering, and this is also the first half of your daily double race races number 1 and 2. We will have the post and the race coming up in a few minutes' time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the horses are heading down the back straight and getting themselves all set to get in position behind the starter. Run down the horse for you one more time. Number 1 is Shot Fired, driven by the new driver here at the Loop this year, Glenn LeDrew. Horse number 2, Be Special, driven by Daryl Mason. Number 3 is Nonversation, driven by Richard Remillard. Driver and trainer Clayton Braybrook on the reins for number 4, Irish Gene, and number 5, Two Shoes, driven by Dean Ray. The horses are lining up behind the starting gate. Swing open that gate and let them accelerate, baby. We are racing. Race number 1, season number 2 underway here at the Loop Red River Exhibition Park in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Diving down into the first turn, it's Be Special with Daryl Mason on the controls, followed by Two Shoes. Then it is Nonversation with Irish Gene and Shots Fired trailing the field. Heading down the backstretch for the first time, Be Special continues to show the way with Irish Gene trailing, and in third place it is Nonversation. As we head towards the first quarter in 31 even, it is Be Special continuing to lead the way, followed by Two Shoes, Nonversation, Irish Gene, and Shots Fired trailing the field. Now moving to the outside, Shots Fired starting to make a little bit of a move as we come around the second turn and head towards the home stretch for the first time. It is still Be Special showing the way, but being challenged on the outside behind by Two Shoes. Nonversation is number 3, followed by Shots Fired. Be Special is still continuing to lead the way as she has all the way from the beginning, but now starting to make the move on the outside. It is Nonversation. Nonversation challenging to the outside, blocking Be Special into the pocket. Nonversation on the outside, making the heavy move as we head towards the three-quarter pole at a time of 1:33.3. Nonversation starting to cruise past into the final turn and also making the move on the outside, passing Be Special is Two Shoes. Two Shoes is starting to make the move and challenge Nonversation now as we come around the final turn. It is Two Shoes and Nonversation fighting it out coming around the final turn as we head towards home. On the outside, it's Two Shoes, Nonversation pulling away from the rest of the pack. Two Shoes, Nonversation, Two Shoes, and it is going to be, looks like by a nose, Nonversation, followed by Two Shoes and Shots Fired. We'll get the official results shortly, but it looks like your winner at a time of 2:04.2. 2:04.2, Nonversation. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner, the number 3 horse, Nonversation, now heading into the winner's circle. Nonversation, driven by Richard Remillard and trained by Tara Isman. 4-year-old bay mare by Mystician, out of Say Anything from Rock and Roll Hanover, owned by Tara Isman, Jim Wilson, and Richard Remillard. Your number 2 horse was Two Shoes, number 5, and the number 3 horse was Be Special. So your finish top down 4-3-1-5-2. 4-3-1-5-2. We'll have our handicaps in race number 2 coming up shortly. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner in the first race, Nonversation, written by Richard Remillard, paid $12.80 to win, $7.70 to place, and $10.20 to show. The number 2 horse was number 5, Two Shoes, $9.70 to place and $18.90 to show. Be Special in third place paid $10.20 to show. $1 Exacta 3-5 paid $23.10, and the Triactor 3-5 all paid $8.78. That was a 20-cent Triactor. 3 all paid $8.78. All right, moving on to race number 2. Oh, and by the way, once again, your order of finish 4-3-1-5-2, 4-3-1-5-2, the official order of finish for race number 1. Race number 2, 7 horses lining up behind the gate for this one, and for 5 of them, This is going to be their racing debut other than qualifying. So with that in mind, again, going to pick experience over enthusiasm and go with the number 2 horse, Choose to Cruise, this time around as my favorite. Finished 4 times in the money last year at the Loop here out of 6 starts and has posted the lowest average running times out of the rest of the field. I'm going to go with a bit of a long shot for my second pick this time around. And the place horse is going to be number 6, Not So Bashful. This horse is because of the driver. Last year, it seemed like almost any time Blake Pinook sat on the sulky, there was a chance of a win. So he's looking to keep that magic going this year. And with an unproven field, just might pay off nicely. And finally, my pick to show is the number 1 horse, King of the Blue Line. Again, an unexperienced field. The inside post position has to give any horse a bit of an advantage. So I say this colt takes full advantage. My picks for race number 2 are 2-6-1. Again, 2-6-1. And now we turn it over to the professor, Mike Williams, with his picks for race number 2.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah, it looks like that last race, anything can happen when you have a 1-9 favorite with shots fired. It breaks stride, takes you out of the race. The horse doesn't show any breaks in the last long while, but anything can happen in a horse race, and that's what happened in race number 1. I have to agree with Frank in race number 2, Choose to Cruise qualifier in 2 minutes and 3/5. Last quarter in 28-4. Quite impressive. Looks like a 3-year-old filly that'll be in contention, I think, in the stake races here this summer. So I think Choose to Cruise was Glenda Drew taking a year off last year, was the top driver in Manitoba 2 years ago, and looks to give it a good challenge this year. For second, I'm going to go to the inside, King of the Blue Line with driver Richard Remillard, who got to the winning circle with Conversation, Non-Versation in the last race, and looks to drive for a big stable, Richard Ray. Looks like he's got some power this year in his stable. And I'm looking at the owner, Laverne Termo, brought some horses in from down east, and I think that's good enough for me. And King of the Blue Line, I think he'll be fighting to go to the exactor payoff. Not So Bashful, the 6th hole. I agree with Frank again with Blake Pinook, was absolutely on fire last year and destroyed everybody in the driver's standing. Arthur A's got some great horses down east, and he always has his horses ready. So this 4-year-old mare might be ready for first asking, Not So Bashful. So I'm going to take the 2, 1, and 6. And good luck. We'll see you back in race number 3.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. And again, my pick's 2-6-1, Mike 2-1-6. Either way, no matter how you do it, we both agree the same 3 horses are going to finish in different orders, but the same 3 horses are going to come in the top. We'll be back with your post parade in a couple of minutes' time. It's a beautiful afternoon here in Winnipeg at the Loop as we begin season number 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the horses are on the track for race number 2 here this afternoon with a purse of $3,200. Tractor exactor wagering is available. And this is a maidens race, so none of these horses have won yet in their career. Somebody is going to walk away with their first win after this one is done. Let's take a look at the horses that are going to be running this afternoon. Passing the parade first off, King of the Blue Line, driven by Richard Remillard and trained by Richard Ray. Your number 3 horse is Chasin' Rainbows, driven by Dean Ray and trained by Lorraine Ray. Choose to Cruise is the number 2 horse, driven by Glenn LeDrew and trained by Trevor Williams. Here's the number 5 horse, Not So Bashful, being driven by Blake Paduk and trained by Arthur Ray. And also just passing in the background was Voodoo Blue Trip, driven by Don Howlett and trained by Matthew Howlett. And last but certainly not least, coming into view now, passing the grandstand, it's the number 6 horse, Not So Bashful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the horses head down the backstretch towards the starter's gate, let's run down the teams for you one more time. The number 1 horse, King of the Blue Line, driven by Richard Remillard. Number 2, Choose to Cruise, driven by Glenn Drew. Chasing Rainbows, your number 3 horse, driven by Dean Ray. It's Ray and Mischief, your number 4 horse, driven by Michelle Ray. Number 5 horse, Tough Crowd, driven and trained by Mark Filion. Your number 6 horse, Not So Bashful, driven by Blake Pinook. And the number 7 horse, Voodoo Blue Chip, driven by Don Howlett. The horse is in position. We are but mere moments away from pacing. The horses are lined up. Swing open that gate and watch them accelerate. Here we go. It is race number 2, season number 2 at the Loop, Red River Exhibition Park. As they dive down into that first turn, we have got Choose to Cruise taking the early lead and taking a big early lead. Choose to Cruise followed by Ray and Mischief. It's Choose to Cruise followed by Ray and Mischief. And then we've got Tough Crowd followed by Chasing Rainbows. Choose to Cruise continues to lead as we pass the first quarter at 40. Choose to Cruise, Rays and Mischief, Tough Crowd, and Chasing Rainbows, your top 4 right now. Choose to Cruise coming around with about a 2-length lead, followed by Ray and Mischief, Tough Crowd, and Chasing Rainbows. Choose to Cruise is going to be coming in as we are halfway home. Choose to Cruise in a time of 104 and 2 at the halfway mark. Choose to Cruise continues to lead as they have from the very, very beginning. Glenn LeDrew has got the horse running very nicely this afternoon. We've got a break now on the second horse, break on the outside, and that leaves some room open for the number 5 horse, Tough Crowd, to pull into the second spot. Choose to Cruise, though, is well out in front as we head down the backstretch for the final time, followed by Rays and Mischief. Then now starting to make the move on the outside, it is Chasing Rainbows. Chasing Rainbows making the move on the outside, but it is going to be Choose to Cruise, their race to lose as we pass the 3/4 pole at 135 and 1. Choose to Cruise continues to cruise in first place. It's going to be a battle more for second place right now as Chasing Rainbows is being challenged on the outside by Not So Bashful. Coming around the final turn and into the home stretch, it's going to be Choose to Cruise unless something happens, but Choose to Cruise is going to take this one easily. The battle is going to be for second place, and coming in, we've got Chasing Rainbows in second, and it's going to be Not So Bashful in third, but in a time of 2:06 even. It is Choose to Cruise with driver Glenn LeDrew taking the second race. Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, for the second race is official. Choose to Cruise, driven by Glenn LeDrew and trained by Trevor Williams. The 3-year-old Dave Filly by Lambretta Kilo Dream from is owned by Trevor Williams of Landmark, Manitoba. Top down order of finish is official 5-1-2-6-4-3-7. That's 5-1-2-6-4-3-7. Here, number 2 race is official, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner, Choose to Cruise. Paid out $370 to win, $10 to place, and $480 to show. Chasing Rainbows, the number 3 horse, came in second, $10 to place and $2 to show. And Not So Bashful did not pay. It was a $1 exactor, 2-3, paid $3.20. 20-cent triactor, all paid $1.54. And your $1 daily double, 3-2, paid $12.30. We will be back with the post parade, our handicaps, and race number 3 very shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at race number 3. This is by far the largest crowd we've got for the racing field this afternoon. And 8 lining up at the gate. And for a favorite, I'm going to go this time around with the number 2 horse, I'm Outrageous 2. Qualified easily 2 weeks ago here at the Loop, and prior to that ran a 158 at Century Downs. My number 2 pick for this race this afternoon should be Looking Like a Million. 4 races, ran 4 races last season at the Loop with 2 wins, a place, and a show. And a bit slow for a qualifying time 2 weeks ago at 2:14, but I think the gelding rounds back into form when it matters today. And my show horse for this race is the number 5 one, Is He Watching? The filly has been running at Fraser Downs since April, where she picked up a win in a much higher class. She drops a class today, and starting from the middle of the pack, will eventually work her way to the 3rd position. So my order of finish for race number 3 is 2-1-5. Again, 2-1-5. Now let's send it over to the Professor Mike Williams for his picks for race number 3.
Thanks again, Frank. Congratulations in race number 2 to Choose to Cruise. Driver Glenn LeDrew back after your layoff, gets his first win of 2024, and good doing it. So we'll go right to race number 3, the beginning of the pick 4, races 3 to 6. So if you haven't bet pick 4 before, take a close look at it. There looks to be a couple of standouts, I think, in the 4 races. So pick 4 starting right now. Horse I like, however, Frank, I'm going to go with the 5 horse, Is He Watching? Driver Mitch Ray, trainer Richard Ray. I said last race that I think Ricky Ray has a power stable this year. He's got Army Hanover coming up in the opening race number 6. And Laverne Turnbull has brought some good horses from down east. And I think this is one of them. Is He Watching? He's had 7 starts this year, and that's huge compared to the rest in this field. And I think condition-wise only, and mostly actually, I think Is He Watching is going to win this race. Race number 2, I'm going to go to I'm Outrageous 2 with Glenn LeDrew, trainer Trevor Williams. I think Glenn's going to try to take this as far as he can on the inside, a lot of early speed. And before the post parade gets out here, number 1 horse, Looking Like a Million. Driver Richard Remillard on the inside. Looks to complete my top 3. So good luck. We'll see everybody back in race 4. Here's Frank with the post parade for race number 3.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you very much for your picks. So again, my picks for race number 3 are 2-1-5, and Mike is picking 5-1-2. Once again, we're pretty much in agreement. It's just as far as win, place, show, the order that they're going to be in. The horses are getting onto the track. They're going to get themselves in position for the post parade, and we'll be back to give that to you momentarily. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is race number 3 with a purse of $3,400, triactor, exactor wagering, and of course, as Mike said, race number 1 of this afternoon's pick 4, races 3, 4, 5, and 6. Some great horses for you to choose from. Could be some nice jingle in your jeans coming up a little bit later on today. As the horses pass the grandstand, let's introduce you to everybody. The number 1 horse, Looking Like a Million, driven by Richard Remillard and trained by Tara Isman. Your number 3 horse, a little out of order. Your number 3 horse is Mrs. Little Bozo, driven by Blake Panook and trained by Mark Fillion. There's your number 4 horse, Palmer's Puddin', driven by Clayton Braybrook and trained by Sherry Mason. This is horse number 5, Is He Watching, driven by Michelle Ray and trained by Richard Ray. The number 2 horse on the outside there, I'm Outrageous 2, driven by Glenn LeDrew, trained by Trevor Williams. The 6 horse, Cartoon Kid, driven and trained by Mark Fillion. Your 7 horse, Fancy That, with Daryl Mason at the controls and trained by Sherry Mason. And trailing the pack with the gray, it's Trust Me a Lot, driven by Tyler Grundy and trained by Jacqueline Grundy. We'll be back with an 8-horse field for race number 3. By the way, the number 8 horse, Trust Me a Lot, is going to be running in a trailing position behind horses number 1 and number 2. And when they're starting, horse number 7, Fancy That is going to be running on the inside, but will line up at the gate in the starting position. Will line up on the inside as they're coming around the final turn on the starter's gate, but will line up at the gate for the start. Just something to keep in mind. Again, race number 3 on the way shortly. Horses are getting ready to head back down the stretch once more time as they head towards the gate. So let's introduce you to everybody one again. It is the number 1 horse, Looking Like a Million, driven by Richard Remillard. Number 2, I'm Outrageous 2, driven by Glenn LeDrew. Your number 3 horse, Mrs. Little Bozo, driven by Blake Pinnock. Number 4 horse, Palmer's Puddin', driven by Clayton Braybrook. Number 5 is He Watching, driven by Michelle Ray. Number 6, Cartoon Kid, and driver is Mark Fillion. Fancy That is the number 7 horse, driven by Daryl Mason, and the number 8 horse, Trust Me a Lot, driven by Tyler Grundy. And once again, the number 8 horse, Trust Me a Lot, is going to be a trailer behind horses 1 and 2. And the number 7 horse is going to start in position, but will trail the field coming around the turn before we get to the starting position. So that's going to be that. Moments away from pacing. They're lined up behind the gate. Swing it open and let them ponies accelerate. Here we go. We are racing. Taking the early lead, Mrs. Little Bozo makes the break, but then heading into the first turn, it's I'm Outrageous 2, the number 2 horse. It is Mrs. Little Bozo and I'm Outrageous 2 fighting for the early lead as we come around the first turn and head towards the back stretch, but making a big move on the outside. Cartoon Kid challenging early for the lead. Look at the speed from Cartoon Kid as we head down the backstretch for the first time and now taking the lead ahead of I'm Outrageous 2. It is Cartoon Kid ahead of I'm Outrageous 2. Cartoon Kid continues to show the way as we head towards the first quarter at a time of 31 and 2. 31 and 2. Cartoon Kid now falling off, and it is I'm Outrageous 2 retaking the lead. It's the 2 horses ahead of the pack, and I'm Outrageous 2 putting on a burst of speed to retake the lead, but coming up on the outside and making a quick move. It is Mrs. Little Bozo, as the horses are settling in 1, 2, 3 as we come down the home stretch for the first time. Also making some move on the outside as we start to head towards the halfway point. It is still I'm Outrageous 2, but there is Looking Like a Million making a bit of a move on the outside and placing Cartoon Kid well into the pocket. It is I'm Outrageous 2 continuing to show the way with Cartoon Kid, Looking Like a Million, and Fancy That. It is I'm Outrageous 2 still showing the way as we head around turn number 3, but making the move on the outside and again locking everybody else in the pocket. It is Looking Like a Million on the outside, challenging I'm Outrageous 2 as we head towards the 3/4 pole. Heading towards the 3/4 pole at a time of 1:33 and 2 and making the final move towards the home stretch. It is continuing to be I'm Outrageous 2 and on the outside Looking Like a Million. Looking Like a Million now taking the lead as I'm Outrageous 2 is falling back into second place. Looking Like a Million is starting to stretch her lead now out to about 4 lengths as we come around the final turn and head towards home. Looking Like a Million, the gelding is home and clear right now as far as the race is concerned. It's going to be a battle for second as they come down, and it's going to be 3 across for a battle for second place, making some late moves. It is He Watching taking second place, and Trust Me a Lot, or pardon me, Fancy That, your third place horse. So again, it is Looking Like a Million. Is He Watching? Fancy That, your unofficial order of finish. We'll have the officials from the judges coming up in a couple of minutes' time. But in a time of 2:04 and 4, your winner, Looking Like a Million. Now in the winner's circle, ladies and gentlemen, it's Looking Like a Million, driven by Richard Remillard and trained by Tara Isman. The 3-year-old brown gelding by Ambro Baylor out of Untold Millions from Dealer Take All is owned by Tara and Dr. Valerie and M. George Isman of Manitoba and Garrett Isman of Alberta. Again, your winner in a time of 2:04 and 4. Your number 1 horse, Looking Like a Million. All right, ladies and gentlemen, race number 3 is official. Your winner in a time of 2:04 and 4 is Looking Like a Million. Looking Like a Million paid $14.70 to win, $4.40 to place, and $5.40 to show. Your number 2 horse was Is He Watching, paying $2.10 to place and $2.10 to show. And your number 3 horse was Fancy That, driven by Daryl Mason, and paid $13 to show. Your $1 exactor paid $5.75, 20-cent triactor paid $1.57. And your order of finish from top down, 148-725-36. Again, 148-725-36. Race number 3 in the books. We'll be back with race number 4 shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at race number 4 coming up in a few minutes from now. And once again, we've got ourselves a maiden race this time around with little to no history to go on. We're making any decisions. So once again, experience has to be what we lean on. And with that in mind, let's go with the number 3 horse, Lazar Mania, to cross the finish line first. The filly ran a qualifier with Woodbine July 11th, where she finished at a 1:57 and 3, by far the best time turned in by any horse in this young field. For second place, I'm going to go with the far outside for the number 6 horse, Atania. Mainstay here at the Loop last year. The mare and her driver, Clayton Braybrook, know the track well. I'm picking her to finish as a bridesmaid, but wouldn't be surprised if she's the one in the winner's circle at the end today. And for third this race, I'm going to go with the number 1 horse, Grit and Grace. She posted the best qualifying time other than first-timers of the other first-timers in this race, and in the inside post position, and I think a third-place finish will be relatively easy. So my picks for race number 4, 3, 6, and 1. And we turn it now once again over to the professor, Mike Williams, with his picks.
Thanks again, Frank. A little recap on race number 3. Looking like a million did just that. Driver Richard Remillard with the second win on the card so far today. Our Rovers driver on the at the loop, 70 years old, needs 40 more wins to reach 1,000. And that's a lot of wins when 95% of his driving skills were on the Great Western Circuit and here on the loop. So we're hoping in the next couple of years, Richard Remillard can meet that milestone of 1,000 wins. Okay, we got race number 4 coming up. I like Lazar Mania with Michelle Ray, Richard Ray. I'm going to get it right one of these times here with the race stable here getting a win. Like Frank said, qualified in Woodbine. They must have had high hopes for this 3-year-old filly. She's going to be in the Lady Crocus here next week. And I think she's good, and I think she's going to show up today in race number 4. Lazar Mania will go off as favorite, I'm sure, and the one to beat in this 6-horse field. For second place, for the exactor, Braxton's Buddy, Lake Manuka board, trainer Arthur Ray, another 3-year-old Colt Manitoba bred. I think it's got a real good shot in here. You look at the qualifier, 2:14. They were just really cruising, just trying to get around the track. I was not taking it too serious. I think it's my bet for second best. Same goes for the 1-horse, Grit and Grace, Lorraine Ray trainer. I like that last quarter in 30 and 2 on the qualifier. And again, Dean was just cruising, coasting. Wasn't really under any urgency to go any faster than he had to. So it's going to be a good horse race, but I think it's all going to be Lazar Mania when it's done for driver Mitch Ray. Good luck to everybody.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. And yes, we are waiting for the horses to hit the track. So we'll be back in a few minutes' time with your post parade. Again, race number 4 on the way shortly. Well, the horses are on the track for race number 4, so let's introduce you to everybody as they pass the grandstand here. We're just waiting for the first horse to come into view, and we'll let you know who is who. Passing the grandstand now is your number 3 horse in race number 4, Lazar Mania, driven by Michelle Ray, trained by Richard Ray. The number 4 horse is Peekaboo Pebbles, driven by Don Howlett and trained by Matthew Howlett. There's the number 5 horse, Just a Cool Dude, Daryl Mason and Roland Ray. And the number 6 horse in this 6-horse field was Tanya, driven and trained by Clayton Braybrook. There's your number 1 horse now, passing by, Grit and Grace, driven by Dean Rain and trained by Lorraine Ray. And last but certainly not least, the number 2 horse, Braxton's Buddy, driven by Blake Paduk and trained by Arthur Ray. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is race number 4 from the Loop, Red River Exhibition Park, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. As the horses head down the back stretch and get set to line up behind the starter's gate, let's introduce you to everybody taking part. It is the number 1 horse, Grit and Grace, driven by Dean Ray. Your number 2 horse is Bracton's Buddy, driven by Blake Cook. Lazar Mania, your number 3 horse, driven by Michelle Ray. Peekaboo Pebbles is the number 4 horse, driven by Don Howlett. Just a Cool Dude at number 5, driven by Daryl Mason. And your number 6 horse, Tina, driven and trained by Clayton Braybrook. The horses are getting set to get into position, and we are but mere moments away from pacing. The horses are in position. Swing over that gate and watch them accelerate. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pacing, taking the early lead. It is Lazar Mania, and in the inside, it is Grit and Grace that is trying to keep pace. Lazar Mania, your number 3 horse, continues to show the way as we head around her turn number 1 with Grit and Grace following by Braxton's Buddy. And then it is after that, Peekaboo Pebbles, Just a Cool Dude, and Tina bringing up the back of the field. Lazar Mania, as we head down the back stretch for the first time, continues to show the way and plow the field with Grit and Grace followed by Braxton's Buddy, Peekaboo Pebbles, and finally it is Tina. As we hit the first quarter pole at 33 seconds even, Lazar Mania continues to show the way with driver Michelle Ray easily into that position. It is Lazar Mania in the lead with Grit and Grace followed by Braxton's Buddy, Peekaboo Pebbles, and Tina still bringing up the back end of the field. As we come around turn number 2, it is still Lazar Mania, the 3-5 favorite, that is still leading the way, followed by Grit and Grace. We are coming down, and we are halfway home at 106 even, and starting to make a move on the outside. It is Braxton's Buddy. Braxton's Buddy starting to show some speed as we go around to turn number 3. It is still Lazar Mania showing the way, though, and we have a break on the back end. Tina has broken and falling back from the field. It is Lazar Mania still showing the way, but getting some speed. It is Braxton's Buddy on the outside making a move. Braxton's Buddy now in second place, challenging for the lead as Lazar Mania goes down the back stretch, but now it is Braxton's Buddy. Braxton's Buddy taking over lead as we hit the 3-quarter pole at a time of 1:37.2. Braxton's Buddy now in the lead, but breathing down her neck. It is Lazar Mania, followed by Grit and Grace and Just a Cool Dude. Braxton's Buddy starting to lengthen the lead as we come around the final turn. It is Lazar Mania in second, Braxton's Buddy in the lead. As we come around the final turn and head for home, it is going to be Braxton's Buddy that is going to be in the lead, but it's going to be a race for second. Who's it going to be for second place? It is putting on, and it is going to be Grit and Grace and then Lazar Mania. Unofficial order of finish, Braxton's Buddy followed by Grit and Grace and Lazar Mania in a time of 2:07.3, a slow race, 2:07.3. Your winner, Braxton's Buddy. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner at a time of 2:07 and 3 is Braxton's Buddy. Now heading into the winner's circle. Braxton's Buddy, driven by Blake Paduk and trained by Arthur Ray, is a 3-year-old bay colt by Toucan Sam out of Nitrous Force and from Badlands, Hanover, owned by Arthur Ray of St. Claude, Manitoba. Again, at a time of 2:07 and 3, your winner, number 2, Braxton's Buddy. Top down finish 213.546 with a break 213.546. Well, it's official, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner at a time of 2:07 and 3 was Braxton's Buddy. Braxton's Buddy paid $8.40 to win, $2.30 to place, and $2.50 to show. The number 2 horse, Grit and Grace, paid $4.80 to place and $3 to show. And your number 3 horse was Lazar Mania, paid $3 to show. The $1 exacta paid $19.75. Your 20-cent triactor paid $9.89. And again, your top-down official is 213.546. Again, 213.546. That is race number 4 in the books. Let's look ahead now to race number 5, a 5-horse lineup behind the gate for this one, which has the potential to be one of the best races of the day. 5 of the 6 in this field have been kept busy in both Eastern and Western Canada during the Loops off season, so it remains to be seen whether it's kept them sharp or tired them out. For my pick to win, I'm going to go with the number 1 horse, Everyone's Hero. The 4-year-old has been running since May at Century in Edmonton, and although he broke his last time out, has consistently been running sub-2-minute times. My choice to place in this race number 5 is the number 3 horse, Bet You Love Me. Her last time out was March 30th, where she wound up 3rd, challenging down the stretch in a higher class and finishing 1.5 lengths behind the winner. And my 3rd place pick for this race, the number 6 horse, Braxton's Boy. Although the 4-year-old hasn't run since January, he was running out east in a much higher class races and turning in times that flirt with the Loop's record time. So it's going to be a really, really interesting race. So make him part of the triactor bet, and he could be the kicker that puts that little extra jingle in your dreams this afternoon. So my picks today are 136, 136 for race number 5. Good luck, and we turn it over to the Professor Mike Williams for his picks in this race.
Thanks, Frank. A little recap of race number 4. Congratulations to the combinations of trainer Arthur Ray and Blake Panu. Keep an eye on this horse, ladies and gentlemen, Braxton's Buddy. Because when you got a half and 106 in a piece, and where Braxton Buddy was sitting, came his last half in about a minute. And that's pretty good on this track. It's not a real fast track today. If anything, it's rated good. So I think Braxton Buddy really impressed me doing his last half of a minute and a piece in that last race. So let's go right to race number 5. I'm going to go with the 3 horse, Bet You Love Me. Blake Panu, back-to-back win in my opinion, with also trainer Arthur Ray. This horse has had 11 starts this year out in the Ontario circuit, raced in Woodbine and Flamborough, so they thought the 6-year-old mare was good enough to race there. Last year made $31,000. yet to get to the winning circle this year, but in this 6-horse field in the loop here, to me deserves top rating. I agree with Frank. The 1-horse is going to be the one to beat, everyone's hero, with Dean Ray, trainer Sherry Mason. Just shy of 17,000 made in 16 starts. Definitely race tight, racing in the 5,000 claimers in Century Downs, Alberta, and will have something to say in the exactor bet. Also, don't forget we have a late daily double, race number 5 and race number 6. Horse for third in this race, the 3-year-old horse of the year last year here in Manitoba at the Loop, and that's Braxton Boy, coming out of post position 6. Made 30,000 last year, and most of that was right here at the Loop, if not all of it. Has had 2 starts in 2024. They decided to bring this horse back. Was sick for whatever reason, just not racing well. And we'll see how he does today. If he's back to what he was last year, believe me, Braxton's Boy, you're going to hear from down late in the lane. But I like 3, 1, and 6 in race number 5. My daily double pick will be 3, Bet You Love Me in race number 5. With Army Captain Hanover, in my opinion, the best horse on the track here at the Loop. Good luck. We'll see everybody back in the finale.
Thanks a lot, Mike. So again, my picks for race number 5, 1, 3, 6. Mike picking 3, 1, 6. We'll see how it all shakes out in a few minutes' time. Just waiting for the horses to hit the track, and then we'll have your post parade. Well, the horses are on the track for the post parade, so here we go. Number 1 is Everyone's Hero, driven by Dean Ray and trained by Sherry Mason. The number 2 horse, Apajura, driven and trained by Clayton Braybrook. Nice Wave. The number 3 horse, Betcha Love Me. That's driven by Blake Paduk and trained by Arthur Ray. Here comes the number 4 horse past the grandstand, Control the Distance, driven by Daryl Mason, trained by Sherry Mason. Horse number 5 now is Texas Drifter, driven by Glenn LeDrew and trained by Trevor Williams. And the number 6 horse to round out the field this afternoon, Braxton's Boy, driven by Michelle Ray and trained by Richard Ray. Horses are running down the back stretch as they get set to line up behind starter's gate. So let's reintroduce you to everybody who's involved in race number 5 this afternoon for a purse of $3,600. Number 1 horse, Everyone's Hero, driven by Dean Ray. The number 2 horse, Apajura, driven and trained by Clayton Braybrook. The number 3 horse, Bet You Love Me, driven by Blake Panook. Control the Distance is your number 4 horse with driver Daryl Mason. Glenn LeDrew is the driver for the number 5 horse, Texas Drifter. And your number 6 horse, Braxton's Boy, driven by Michelle Ray. The horses are getting themselves into position, and we are but mere moments away from pacing. The horses are lined up. Swing open that gate and watch them accelerate. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pacing. Taking the early lead is the number 2 horse, Apajura, as we head into turn number 1, followed by Bet You Love Me, Everyone's Hero, Control the Distance, Texas Drifter, and Braxton's Boy. Going around turn number 2 and starting to make a move on the outside, it is Control the Distance with Apajura still in the lead and Everyone's Hero still in second place. It is Apajura still in the lead as we head down the back stretch for the first time with Everyone's Hero still in second. Texas Drifter in third as we head to 30-4 for the first quarter, 30-4. Coming around turn number 2, Apajura continues to show the way. It is Everyone's Hero, Texas Drifter, Braxton's Boy, and then Bet You Love Me, bringing up the rear of the field currently. Apajura still showing the way as we come around turn number 2 and head into the stretch for the first time and head to the halfway point. Apajura still leading the way, followed by Everyone's Hero, Texas Drifter, and Braxton's Boy. Halfway home at a time of 1:03.3, it is Texas Drifter now starting to make a move on the outside and challenging for the lead. Texas Drifter now settled into the third place spot with Apajura still holding on to the lead and Everyone's Hero locked into the pocket. Texas Drifter on the outside now takes over second spot, challenging Apajura as we head down the back stretch for the first time. Apajura, Texas Drifter side by side as we head towards the three-quarter pole. It is Apajura, Texas Drifter, Everyone's Hero, Braxton's Boy as we head to the three-quarter time at 1:35 even. Texas Drifter, Apajura as they continue to jostle for the lead as we come around the final turn and head into the stretch run. It is Apajura still in the lead. It is going to be Apajura being challenged by Texas Drifter. The horses are coming around the turn and heading towards home, and we are going to have ourselves one fantastic finish. It is going to be a challenge coming down the stretch. It is still Apajura in the lead, now starting to lengthen with Everyone's Hero in second place. It is going to be a 2-1-5 finish. It is Apajura with Everyone's Hero and Texas Drifter. That's the unofficial results at a time of 2:06.4. We'll have your official results for you in a few minutes' time. Your results are official, ladies and gentlemen, with a time of 2:06 and 4. Congratulations to the number 2 horse, Apajura, driven and trained by Clayton Braybrook. That is your winning horse now going into the winner's circle. 10-year-old Bay Gelding by Blue Burner out of Al's Dream Gal from Gothic Dream is owned by Glenda Giles of Kindersley, Saskatchewan. Again, your winner at a time of 2:06 and 4, the number 2 horse, Apajura. Your official top-down order of finish, 216-435. Again, 216-435. Race number 5 is official, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner at a time of 2:06 and 4. Apajura once again paid $19.60 to win, $5 to show. Your number 2 horse was everyone's hero, paid $6.70 to place and $3.30 to show. And the number 3 horse was the 5 horse, Texas Drifter, paid $2.10 to show. Your $1 exactor paid $24.65, and your 20-cent triactor paid $13.56. The final race of the day, number 6, is going to be on the way shortly. The professor and I will have our picks coming up momentarily. All right, ladies and gentlemen, final race of the afternoon coming up in a few minutes' time. So let's take a look at the horses. This has got the potential to be an eye popper. This is going to be one great race, I think. Once again, East meets West as 2 horses who ran this spring go head-to-head in the center of Canada. The number 4 horse, Mock Jacobs, has been running at Woodbine since April, while number 6, Army Captain Hanover, has been at Fraser Downs in BC. Both have been turning in times that would smash the current loop record, and both have the winner's circles as well, have been winning the winner's circle. My choice, because of post position, going to be Mock Jacobs, the number 4 horse, while number 6, Army Captain Hanover, will be close second. Another horse to watch in this one will be the number 3 horse, One Last Bet. Ran through March and April at Western Fair in London, where she won 4 of her last 5 races. The only reason I'm not picking her as the favorite, her time were 5-6 seconds slower than my first 2 picks. Mind you, she was also running on a half-mile track as opposed to a full 1-mile track out there. Having said that, don't be surprised if the 5-year-old and youngest horse in the field pulls off the win. So my triactor bet is going to be 463. That's 463 with his choices for the race, and I think I know where he's going to go on this one. Let's send it over to the Professor Mike Williams.
Oh, before we go to race number 6, let's go right back to race number 5 for a bit. Apocachura went to the top, has been racing a lot of the top classes over the years. I definitely overlooked this one and maybe feel a little bit foolish now taking a closer look at him. Got to the front, set some fractions depending on the track conditions today, and just didn't let anyone go by, and got the job done. Paid a whopping almost $20, I believe, for the win. So congratulations to trainer Clayton Braybrook and also the driver. So let's go to the finale, race number 6. Yes, you're right. I'm going to have to go with Army Captain Hanover. You just look down. He's been racing the Preferred and Fraser Downs, the best horses in British Columbia. I say in Western Canada, this is one of the top 5 best geldings there is, in my opinion. He's made over 100,000 in the last year or so. If you combine last year and this year combined, he's made almost over $100,000. Does give out push position 6, so there might be a little strategic with Blake Panute, one last bet. Definitely, you look at those quarters, he leads in 27. He is going to get to the front, and with the track being a very tiring track, and it is tiring, he may just, Army Captain Hanover may have a hard time getting by him, but I'm still going to go with Army Captain Hanover for the win. One last bet, a very strong exactor bet in my opinion. I think these two are going to play hard ball on the backside before coming to the stretch, and it's going to be a fun race to watch. For third, another horseman racing at Woodbine, best track in North America in the 14,000 claimers, has yet to get a win in 20 starts, but conditioning-wise, the best conditioned horse by far in this race, and I specify again, an extremely tiring racetrack. Not as easy as it looks on the program. If you look at the program, you're going to take the 6 all day. But the races have fooled us a lot today, and it is because of the track conditions in most of the cases. But I'm going to stick with 6, 3, and 4, or maybe mix them up a little bit, and you may not regret it. We'll see everybody back here next week at the Loop, and good luck, and have a good day for the rest of it. Thank you.
So Mike is picking 6-3-4. I'm picking 4-6-3. We're just waiting for the horses to come on the track for the post parade. We will have race number 6 for you very shortly. Well, the horses are on the track for race number 6 with a purse of $4,800. And let's introduce you to who's taking part in this final race of the afternoon here at the Loop, Red River Exhibition Park. The number 1 horse is Chaz Michael, driven by Richard Remillard and trained by Tara Isman. Now approaching the approaching the grandstand Parmy, your number 2 horse, Litazor, driven by Don Howlett and trained by Matthew Howlett. The number 3 horse just on the other side there, One Last Bet, driven by Blake Panook, trained by Roland Ray. And your number 4 horse, Mock Jacobs, driven by Dean Ray and trained by Lorraine Ray. Here's your number 5 horse, Flying Officer, driven by Tyler Grundy and trained by Jacqueline Grundy. And your number 6 horse, Army Captain Hanover, driven by Michelle Ray and trained by Richard Ray. All right, it is the sixth and final race here at the Loop on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Let's take a look at the 6 horses taking release in the sixth race. Number 1, Chaz Michael, driven by Richard Remillard. Number 2 is Litazor, driven by Don Howlett. One Last Bet, the number 3 horse, driven by Blake Pinook. Mock Jacobs is your number 4 horse, driven by Dean Ray. Tyler Grundy's driving for number 5, Flying Officer. And number 6, Army Captain Hanover, is being driven by Michelle Ray. The horses are heading towards the starting gate, and we are but mere moments away from pacing. The horses are lined up 6 across. Swing over that gate and watch them accelerate. We are pacing, taking the early lead. One Last Bet out of the number 3 spot. As we head down into the first turn, it is One Last Bet taking the early lead and sweeping into the front of the pack, followed by Litazor, and then right behind them it is Chaz Michael. It is One Last Bet, Litazor, Chaz Michael, and Mock Jacobs, followed by Army Captain Hanover as we head towards the first quarter pole. It is still One Last Bet leading the way as the horses stretch themselves out and hit that first quarter at a time of 30-1. It is One Last Bet still in the lead, followed by Litazor, Chaz Michael, Mock Jacobs, and the horse that everybody was looking at, Army Captain Hanover, currently at the back of the pack, just kind of sizing things up, I guess. One Last Bet continues to lead as we come around turn number 2 and head towards the halfway point. One Last Bet, Litazor, Chaz Michael, Mock Jacobs, and Army Captain Hanover. As we hit the halfway point, it is Blake Pinook and One Last Bet in the lead, the 5-year-old mare leading the pack, followed by Chaz Michael, Litazor, Mock Jacobs, and now Army Captain Hanover starting to make a move on the outside. One Last Bet, as he has from the very beginning, is continuing to lead the field, but now we are seeing some speed on the outside from Chaz Michael, starting to make a bit of a move. Chaz Michael is locking in Litazor into the pocket as we head down the back stretch in the 3-quarter pole at 132-1. It is the number 1 horse, Chaz Michael, showing some speed on the outside, challenging One Last Bet, with Litazor still locked into 3rd place. We are coming around the final turn and going to be heading for home with One Last Bet still showing the way as she has from the very, very beginning of the race. And it is going to be a tight one as we come down the stretch into the final. It is still One Last Bet in the lead, but some speed on the outside from Chaz Michael, and also from Army Captain Hanover. It is a tight finish, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have to wait for the judges on this one to see. With a big burst of speed, Army Captain Hanover showed something on the last part of that race. Final time was 2:02.4. Fastest race of the afternoon, 2:02.4. Stay close. We'll have the official results for you momentarily. I've just been informed, ladies and gentlemen, hold all tickets. Photo finish. We have a photo finish on race number 6. Hold all tickets. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner at a time of 2:02 and 4. With his first race here at the Loop this year, it's Army Captain Hanover, driven by Michelle Ray and trained by Richard Ray. The 8-year-old Bay Gelding by Captain Treacherous out of All-American Co-Ed from Dragon again is owned by Laverne Turnbull of Kitchener, Ontario. Once again, your winner at a time of 2:02 and 4. Congratulations on his debut here at the Loop, Army Captain Hanover. Your order of finish, 342-651. Again, 342-651. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Your winner in the 6th and final race of the afternoon, Army Captain Hanover, in a time of 2:02 and 4. Army Captain Hanover pays $6.30 to win, $2.10 to place, and $2.10 to show. The second place horse was One Last Bet, the number 3 horse at $2.10 place and $5 to show. And third place went to the number 1 horse, Chaz Michael, $3.30 to show. Your $1 exacta paid $3.65. A 20-cent triacta paid $6.03. And your $1 daily double paid $4.85. And if you were lucky enough to get them all, that $1 pick 4 of 4 paid $55.05. Hey, we've got a qualifying race still coming up if you want to stick around and watch some more racing action this afternoon. But other than that, that is it for the card this afternoon. We thank everybody for coming out today. And don't forget to join us again next week for more exciting racing action, Saturday afternoon, July the 13th, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, when we do it all again here at the Loop. Hope you have yourself a wonderful rest of your weekend, wonderful week. Drive safely as you head home, and good afternoon. And thank you once again from everybody here at the Loop.